Let's be real. A lot of people aren't healing. They're hiding. They're hiding behind self-care. They're hiding behind being addicted to their story and the pain and the identity that they created around their trauma. What you are being sold right now could be just emotional dependency in a prettier outfit. We're out there calling it awareness. Oh, you are more aware, self-aware, aware. But what if it's not awareness? What if you're just genuinely addicted to your trauma? And I'm not here to shove it down your throat, guys. I have done therapy for 20 freaking years, okay? Remember that therapy can be powerful, but therapy is not God. Somewhere along the way, we started to worship our wounds and we called it awareness. We are going to break down everything mental health with our guest, who is a mental health expert therapist and mentor out of Bozeman, Montana, Adam Thorne. Welcome to the show and welcome to Dichotomy with Shannon. We freaking talk about the mental health not only in America, it's literally everywhere. This is going to come off so wrong. Correct me. There's mental health. There are people that genuinely need therapists. But are you seeing in 2025 that everybody's a guru? Everybody's kind of addicted to self-help. Everybody is doing so much. It's almost like they're addicted to the story and their pain. They've created that as an identity. Or are you seeing, no, the people that are actually going to therapy are the people that genuinely are trying to help heal themselves to move forward with their lives?
Yeah, good question. I think in the last decade, people have been really into this guru self-help type. You see this huge influx of self-help books that have been popping up. Everybody, going on retreats, ayahuasca ceremonies, been this huge thing that leads to joining groups and getting into this kind of, hippie therapy reflection mindset, which I think there's a lot of good to it. The problem is it's like not regulated in some sense. And I'm not saying everything should be. I like the freedom to explore these different ideas, but it just becomes like who's the most popular. Everybody starts following that. And it's like, are the ideas really vetted? Are they useful? Is this just a power grab?
Yeah.
What are you even getting from the experience?
I have been somebody who has been in therapy for 20 years. I used to love it. I stood for it. Now I genuinely believe that there comes a time, not that you're healed, but you have power in your purpose. Like, I feel like we go to therapy not to genuinely heal our childhood wounds, because those are going to be a part of us, but you have to have the power to reclaim yourself and go out and live the rest of your days. Even with that, that's a part of you. It's always going to be a part of you. But I just feel like sometimes therapy is bullshit. I feel like it's narcissistic a little bit. And this is going to sound so, okay. You're constantly digging up old wounds. You're constantly talking about your past hurt. You're staying stuck in your story and you're not moving forward. I've had friends that are in therapy. They've been in therapy for years upon years, and they're still with the same therapist, and they're still not healed. They're not moving on. They're staying stuck in their story. So when do you say enough? We're going to move forward.
Yeah, I agree with some of that for sure. I think that there is some enabling. I think it gets comfortable for both the participant and the therapist, because one, if you have a client that trusts you, you've built rapport, and is visiting you every week and pays, that's a comfortable influx of cash, and you know what to say, and the meetings aren't overly taxing on you. But you've got to be really careful about enabling somebody, because the point of this is to make people feel better, more self-confident, more capable, and ultimately, I would hope, to get them to a point where they can function without you. And the problem is with therapy that there's not a lot of oversight. So in the short time between graduating and getting your hours to get licensed, you're under supervision. But even the supervision relationship is not super in depth in terms of how they observe your work. Number one, they never see you actually do any therapy. There is a chance that they could possibly hear a recording if you got the correct releases, though it's almost never happens. So what you have is 1 hour of supervision, 1 hour meeting with your supervisor for every 20 hours of therapy that you do. And you can kind of say whatever you want in that. You could You can tell your supervisor how your week went based on what you think or what you hope that they perceive you to be,
Mm,
right?
mm,
You don't have to sit there and be like, I don't think I'm getting anywhere. I don't think I'm good at this. Nobody's
okay.
paying attention. As long as people are coming back to sessions, they're paying you and you've got a caseload, and when you do consultations, they come back in, you kind of can continue as a therapist. So the range of kind of bad to actually very good therapists is quite wide. That's why I think getting a good referral and
Yeah.
reputation is really everything.
What would you say to the person now that wants a therapist that needs to change? How could she or he vet out to find a good therapist?
Well, I try a bunch of them.
Okay.
Try a few. Even if you really like the first one that you sit down with,
Mm.
I think it's a really good idea to try at least three. And the consultations usually are free.
Do you know that every single therapist that I've had has become my friend? And they tell me about their life while I'm in session and I'm paying $150 for the hour. And I hate it. They would tell
How
me about their lives. And I'm like, wait a second. And then after my sister died and I was in therapy, I literally felt smarter than the therapist just because of what I went through. And I'm like, yes, you went to college, you got lectured and you got indoctrinated into something, but you have no idea how to really handle this situation.
Shannon, we don't really learn a ton in graduate school. I hate to say it. We really don't. And most therapists will agree with this. The ones that don't, I think, are just really trying to amplify the value of
Mm-hmm.
what they know. Um, Everything that we're learning is when we're in front of our clients and probably when we're talking with our peers and trying to hone our own skills, or maybe even reading books outside of.
Yeah. Have you seen the show Shrinking?
Yeah, it's good.
It's so good. All right, Adam. So, what do you do differently? Like, how do you build them up so they have their own tools so they can be stronger in their everyday life?
Sure. Well, I think something to bear in mind is I'm new to this in the clinical sense. I've done this for about 1 year, right? So there are therapists out there with tons more experience than me, and they are, specialists in a lot more modalities. I'm trying different ones that I learned in grad school and seeing what sticks. Now, one thing that I have that many new therapists don't is I did almost a decade of men's work before that, before I even wanted to be a therapist or knew that I would be. I mean, I was a stand-up comedian. So I
Right.
really wasn't taking a lot of things very seriously. But
That's
I
probably what
took
makes you the best therapist because stand up comedians have lived through some shit. So, that's going to make you a better therapist because you actually live it.
maybe. I mean, I certainly did my best to challenge myself to do difficult things. And I think for men, that often is a very useful skill set to have or to pursue. So a lot of what I do, and I took the men's group stuff very seriously. I didn't have to sit in those groups trying to persuade everybody that, oh, look at me as this therapist that I'm
Right.
growing into. I just showed up and did my best to support the men, learn a lot about myself, be as honest as I could, try not to be judgmental, and also call people out on things when they come in week after week talking about honesty or talking about
Mm,
loyalty or talking about the challenges that they're going to undertake, and then they don't do any of those things. And I'm like,
mm,
hey, buddy, you said you were going to do this four
yeah.
weeks in a row. Why aren't you doing it?
So,
What's
you
holding
hold them
you
accountable.
back? Yeah, there's some of that. So when it comes to my therapy, I like to do a thing called reality theory, which was literally like one paragraph in one chapter of one class that I did in grad school, and we never
Okay.
really expanded. And it's like foundational. Okay, so if you think of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you've got the very basics like food and shelter, that sort of thing.
Mm,
So when I look at, and I mostly will work with men that are just struggling in their life to just balance their wife or family,
balance their
or,
wife.
well, balance it in terms of like their home life, their emotions towards setting boundaries, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Right? There's just a lot of conflict going on. They don't really know how to show up as a man. Often the wife is having to do a lot more and is kind of
Mm,
losing confidence, and
hmm.
it's creating this rift. I'm seeing a lot of like nervous men coming
Yeah.
in.
Why
So
do you
what I
think
look,
that's an epidemic? Because I 100% agree with that. And then I do want to get back into what this reality thing is.
yeah,
But I feel like I always call it an alpha. We are hurting, a lot of us women, we are in our alpha and we can't be the feminine. We're so in our masculine energy at all times because we have to handle everything now. Now we work, we take care of the kids, we clean the house. We're doing too much as women. So, how do you help the men be men?
yeah, great question. I mean, how you do it in society is you just have good dads for them.
Mm,
Then you set up you probably good men's groups, and you make sure that when you raise your boy that they have a good circle of friends that support them, and
mm.
and aren't ashamed to display masculine energy. Not all of it is toxic. In fact, not much of it is toxic. A
With the
lot of it,
women or with the men?
the men, a
Okay,
lot
okay.
of it is protective,
Yeah.
right? It's to
Yeah.
make people feel safe.
Yeah.
So anyway, I look at foundation. I mean, if someone comes in and they're like, right, my wife hates my mother, there's all this tension, it stresses me out so much. I can't get them to like work together. She can never come out. Like, so that's like the crutch of the issue that they're starting with, right? So I listen to
Mm.
that and I'm like, okay. And then after they get their kind of whole story of who they are and what's going on in their world out, I will just slowly kind of go through a little bit of a survey with them or a questionnaire and be like, okay, how much are you drinking? What's your like substance abuse? Do you smoke a lot of weed? Do you play a lot of video games? How are
Mm.
you sleeping? How are you eating? Do you exercise? Do you have good social network, like a good hangout? And by looking at those things, often it will give me an idea of kind of like the overall shape of their system.
Yeah.
And often it's a mess.
Yeah. Is
They're
this the
barely
reality
doing
thing that
any
you
of those
said that
things.
you learned in school, the one chapter, the one book?
Well, I've
Okay.
looked into it obviously a lot more since
Yeah.
then. I just liked what it was saying. There's
Yeah.
something else called action theory, which I really like, which is along the lines of if someone's very depressed and they can't just get themselves up to go to work, or they just can't even do like the most basic things to keep their life moving,
Mm.
where it will lean into collapse. Like if you lose your job, you have no money, you'll lose your house. These things are
Right.
bad. Now,
Yes.
you're still going to be depressed until we can work on that. But here are tools to make sure you don't lose your job, that you still can work on your budget, that you can still pay your mortgage. So when we
Mm.
get to the end of helping you with your depression, you haven't lost everything in your life.
Yeah, I love that. That's like preventative, which I believe in. Preventative care.
Yeah, and then obviously all like this is different for everybody. I'm taking one example. Some people come in with all different types of things. It could be couples counseling. That could be a whole different ball game. But I think it is useful, at least from my approach, just to look at those key factors at the beginning. And often I'll get somebody that's really out of shape going on a walk. I'm not saying get straight to CrossFit.
Right.
Walk, start going for walks,
Yeah.
eat a little bit better, sleep
Yes.
extra 30 minutes,
Yes. I agree
one
with that.
less
It's like,
beer.
what is it? Micro dosing happiness. Like, do little things every single day that's going to better yourself. Do you work on nervous system regulation with your clients? Do you ever go into the neuroscience about it?
Sometimes I'll do breathing exercises. I have some ADHD clients that get really overwhelmed and kind of explode sometimes, teenagers especially.
Oh,
So we do breathing exercises, and I have processes that are really basic. I mean, you could Google them,
yeah.
but I think what gives them confidence is they're sat in front of a professional and they trust me, so they're willing to kind of work through those things.
Yeah.
And actually, a big part of what I find really beneficial for the ADHD clients that are losing their tempers a lot is I say, show up early, be prepared and show up early. Meaning, if you have an appointment at 10 a.m. somewhere, leave early for it. So you won't forget anything. You won't be in a rush. You won't be driving quickly. You won't be tense. And when you get there, you'll be prepared. And it seems like that's a lot of like how that mindset just gets them riled up and sets them off in like kind of a ADHD panic almost.
It's like a hack then. You have hacks for how to help people.
Yeah, I
Give
guess.
us some more hacks. Adam, do you have any more?
Well, I mean, yeah. One client was throwing up blood a lot and took a long time before he told me this.
Oh my
And
gosh.
then I said, you should probably go to the hospital and also really stop drinking. And he stopped drinking and stopped throwing up blood.
So he
Now,
listened.
it just seems like so super obvious, right? And we
Right.
all do this. We all do this. Like I did it yesterday at the chiropractor. I went in and the chiropractor was like, your hips are a little out of alignment and one leg is like a bit off, so they had to pop it. And he said, where do you keep your wallet? Do you keep it in your back pocket on the right side? And I said, yeah. And he goes, if you sit on that, it's gonna put your hips out a bit. I know this. I've heard this. I think we all have.
I
It's like
haven't. That's
sometimes,
brilliant.
oh, well, sometimes we know some things and we still don't do it. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure my client knew that alcohol was leading to this with their system, and they just needed someone they trusted. Like he had to get to the point where he trusted me enough to where the shame of admitting that
Mm,
this was happening to him was like lower than the need to give me that information. And then I was
yeah.
like, hey, I can help you with this. And I promise you'll feel so much better. For this person in particular, after that point alone, his resilience went up like this. All of
Wow.
a sudden, all of the issues, almost all the issues that he came in for, I would ask him about, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm not even worried about that anymore. That kind of sorted itself out.
Because of the stopping drinking. Why aren't we seeing this more? Like that's something so simple, Adam. You told the guy to quit drinking. He stopped throwing up blood. He's not worried about certain things that he was once worried about. That's probably all because of the drinking chaos, right?
Yeah, a lot of his problems stem from that.
So he was ready to ask for help. So there's probably a lot of clients that you have that aren't ready to ask for help. So how do you see who's ready and who's not?
Definitely. You just have to talk to them. You have to meet them where they are. And that all comes from the rapport that you build. So it doesn't matter how much they like you. That's important. They need to like you and trust you,
Yeah.
right? Or just maybe trust you. Maybe they don't have to like you, but they do have to trust you and believe that you can help them. It's better if they like you too, though.
Yeah.
And for that, you need to be a likable person, right?
Yeah.
So that's very useful. But then you've got to lead into challenges, and you've got to lead into challenges that meet them where they are. For example, if I know somebody's overweight and if they lost a little bit of weight, they'd have that lift. They're talking about not having enough energy to do the
Mm,
things that they want. Then my thought is, how do I get more energy? Well,
yeah.
how do you generally do that? More sleep, eat better, and probably lose weight or get in shape.
Yeah.
That's pretty reasonable. So if I go, hey, let's get a gym membership for you. And they're like, no, no, no. I mean, I tried. Or even if they agree, but then they don't do it by the next week. I know what I did was gauge the challenge too high.
Oh, so you need to
Right?
make it more attainable goals for them.
You just got to meet them where they are. And maybe it's like, hey, can you set a goal of 5,000 steps a day? Very manageable.
Mm,
It's really not that many. You actually do quite a lot of steps just moving from like your car to your wherever to your sofa to your
right.
fridge. I mean, if you have something tracking it, it does add up. You can kind of just walk around the block once, it
Yeah.
does add up. And that can be the beginning. And I've seen it lots of times. That can be the beginning of somebody being like, hey, I went for a jog last week.
Mm,
I'm like, holy shit, that's awesome. Good for you.
yeah.
Feel why God, I just got more energy. I
That's
just
amazing.
do it.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it is that challenge. Now, when you're saying how do you gauge who's ready and who's not, it's just trying to find that point. Some people give you resistance maybe forever. Some
Mm.
people have an excuse for everything why they can't do it.
But yet
Oh, I
they're still
tried that.
paying and they're still showing up to be with you. Why is that? What's the neuroscience behind that?
Well, they want help. People want help. Some people just like talking to somebody that actually listens to them
Yeah,
as well.
even if they have to pay them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Well,
want to
don't
go.
you find that?
I don't
Aren't
need
you
to
doing
pay to
something
talk to
similar?
people. I talk to strangers every single day. My cup runneth over.
Yeah.
I did do the whole, and listen, I am not shitting on therapists at all. I believe that there's a time and a place and you need it. Everybody needs it to an
I
extent. If you're
I don't
staying
feel
stuck in
like
your sickness and you're not healing and it's you need to get out. I truly believe that me, Shannon Rose McVey, I am done with therapy. At this time in my life, I am done with healing. Now it's time to love on other people and teach them how to break free from the bondage, from the control, from the chains that they have. They are literally in control of their own lives. And I want to give them the power to do it instead of outsourcing it to therapists.
I love that. It just sounds like you got what you needed out of it.
Oh, from therapy.
Well, I didn't know that you did therapy for so long.
I have done therapy. Oh my God. It's like literally 20 years. When I stopped doing therapy was after my sister died and I went to the therapist and I'm like, this is crazy. Like my other therapist was talking to me about her divorce and what she should do. I had another man therapist hit on me. I had this other therapist who was very underqualified, but she could talk the book. She could talk the book all day long. Very, very, very smart. Didn't have any life skills whatsoever. So I just feel like you
That's
get to a
unfortunate.
point, and actually with my last therapist, do you know what EDMR is or EMDR? Of
Yeah,
course
yeah.
you do. Do you do EMDR?
I don't, but I know people that do. One of my supervisors does, loves it.
Well,
I'm
guess
not
what it did
opposed
for
to it.
me? It made me so depressed. I kept going back to that childhood
It's
in
quite
and
intense.
say it again.
I said it's quite intense.
It's quite intense, but there comes a point where like I was literally leaving crying every single time I would leave the therapy set. I would have anxiety about what could have happened to me. And then my imagination in my brain, because your brain just wants to scare you because it wants you to be safe. So in my imagination, anybody that knows me knows that I have an incredibly vivid imagination. It was actually hurting me.
Well, I think the tricky thing is, and it goes the same for me with reality theory. I can't just apply that to everybody. People can't just come in like a couple, you know, that having relationship issues, and don't immediately sit there and go, right, how are you both eating and sleeping, and
Right.
you know, but I think the EMDR people sometimes they get so behind that
Yeah.
they believe in it so much that just like, oh, let's do this with
Yeah.
you. Well, it sounds like for you that was not the path they should have gone down, or they maybe could have tried it and checked in right away and been like, how you feeling? I
Mm.
feel terrible. The other thing I wanted to point on is it's okay to have some disclosure in sessions because you want to make the relationship a real relationship, right? So if somebody's coming in and seeing you for a long period of time, after a while, I may mention something about my daughter or relate something to, a story that happened with my wife. Because otherwise, it's just this one way street of just hearing everything about them. But bringing in your own problems and really asking for advice that's anything other than a very neutral question. Like possibly with one of my teenage clients, I might be like, I'm thinking of getting a new car. What do you think of this one or this one? Right?
So you're doing that to
That's
try to
almost
relate to them.
empowering. Yeah, that's almost empowering for them, right? It's like, wow, he really cares about what
Not
I
for somebody like me. I'd be like, dude, this is about, you're wasting my money.
sure, but it depends in the context. But my point is, you wouldn't bring up, I'm going through this really difficult thing and I have this hard choice. What do you think I should do?
Yep.
That's not going to make a client feel very confident. Like
Yeah.
you need to exude confidence. You have to be a person in that room that is showing the other person, quite frankly, that you have your shit together.
Yes.
People don't always have it, but it's something that therapists should and need to be working on all the time. Is
What
that
I want to say with you saying that is authority. You guys have to be an authority. If you're not
otherwise?
that authority, then we're not going to, one, feel really safe and trust you, but also feel like you're going to guide us in the right direction if you're not an authority. You have to be, I want you to be better, smarter than me, more evolved. If I'm going to pay you to help me with my life and what next steps that I have to take, which by the way, I believe in mentorship. I do mentor. I have a group of women that come to me weekly and I literally help them. But what my goal is to have them find the power that they have within themselves to create the life that they deserve. I want to help them take that next step and then go out and fly.
Yeah. And mentoring I enjoy, I think, more than the therapy aspect. And for that, you don't need a license. I mean, for one, to get somebody that wants to work with you in a mentoring relationship, it means that you've gained their trust outside of anything other than your reputation and maybe your education and your qualifications or whatever. But you
Yes.
meet with that person, you give them more time, they have more access to you.
Yeah.
They often will pay more because that's kind of the nature of it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more intrusive into your own life. But when
Hmm.
you have more time with somebody and there is more freedom, we don't have to meet in an
Do
office.
you only mentor men?
So far, I have, but it's not exclusive. It doesn't need to be.
Okay.
It just happens to have done that.
I love that you're doing that. And the people that are ready to invest in themselves, the people that are truly ready to heal and take that next step towards living a beautiful life, which I believe is our inheritance, those are the people that are willing to pay, and you want them with you. I have paid thousands and thousands of dollars for mentors. I believe in it. It's changed my life more than therapy,
Yeah, they can be very effective for sure.
period.
And it comes down to that somebody that really believes in you. And because of the closeness of the relationship, it's different than that hour that you meet every
Yeah.
week.
And you
That is
probably don't have to like dot all your I's and cross your T's like you do in therapy.
exactly. It's more casual.
Yeah.
You can try different things. You can, not to say that you're not bound by the same ACA ethics codes or whatever you are, and you should be, but you do have more freedoms to kind of explore ideas and go down different routes.
You have to be
Maybe
careful because there's
multiples.
so many brands out there, but there are people and brands that genuinely are good. I have taken so many courses online where I spend monthly. Courses do work, but I think
Oh,
it
yeah, no,
depends
I
on,
believe that they do. They just, again, like therapists, should be vetted.
yes,
No,
it should be vetted. Absolutely. Yes. What is their skill set? How can they help you? Did they truly live it? Or are they just like chat GPTing it?
yeah, because you want the results to be
Yes.
like if you are not getting results, you want that to be because you're not doing something right and you
Yeah.
can keep adjusting it, but you're at
Yes.
least getting the right information.
Yes. Yes.
If you're
Amen.
getting bad information and not getting results and paying for it, then you can get trapped.
It would be a disservice, Adam, if we did not talk about the medication real quick because of your background. I feel like there's a lot of people asleep at the wheel here. They're heavily medicated. There's anti-anxieties, antidepressants being flung at people that literally cannot handle reality, especially teenagers. I have never seen so many teenagers on Prozac in my life that I do now at 2025. What is happening there? How do we fix it?
Well, I do think it's improving a little bit, but I'm not completely anti. I think that probably yes, it's overprescribed. It's probably bad for your health. I think that there are legit studies these days that are peer reviewed that show exercise alone is actually more beneficial
Right.
for your overall mental state than SSRIs, which
Right.
is important to think about. It's like, hey, exercise will do a lot more for you than make you think and feel better. It's going to make your whole body better. So that's something to consider. And then things like Adderall and these stimulants for ADHD are definitely overprescribed. Though
Yeah.
with my teenage clients, they're getting better with it. They're doing less of the stimulant ones. There's different versions that they will put these kids on that kind of making them less jittery, which is
Mm.
nice to see they're moving in that direction. But yeah, after COVID alone, I mean, these kids grew up with this. I'm working with these like 16-year-olds that so much of their life was just this shutdown that
Oh,
was
it's so
crazy.
sad. Yeah.
And it just has such an effect on them and what they think is real.
Mm.
And some of them even think, well, that could just happen again. Well, why would they not think that?
Of course, of course. Actually, there's so many statistics about how bad COVID has hurt our children. So how can we go out and love humanity a little bit better today?
Good question. Meet everybody where they are. Be
Okay.
kind,
Be
you know?
kind. Peace, right?
Yeah.
All right, Adam. If people want to work with you, if they want to do the mentorship or even the therapy, how can they reach you?
Well, you can go to Psychology Today and look up Adam Thorne in Bozeman, and you can contact me that way.
Here's the thing. Healing isn't supposed to keep you small. It's supposed to help you reclaim your power to the woman or the man that God has created you to be, to walk in alignment, to not be your childhood story anymore, to pick up your cross and go through the rest of this life, doing the best that you can do. Keep showing up for yourself. Keep showing up for your evolution. Keep showing up for your healing. It's there. You can start living that way right now. You are not the person of who wants to find you. If you love today's conversation, please subscribe, send it to a friend who's tired of playing therapist themselves. And if this episode actually did something inside of you, then do something about it. Don't just sit with it. That's the Holy Spirit. Don't quench it. Follow it. Thank you guys so much for listening to Dichotomy with Shannon, and I'll see you on the next one.